Today I'm going to throw a pork shoulder in the smoker. I'll show you how I do it. So I got the pork shoulder out, and you can see it's got a bit of a fat cap, and some people will leave that fat cap on and season it up. I personally cut it off because I like to season it up and I like to eat the crust. I like the good crust, and usually with this, you kind of pull off a lot of the fat. You can leave some of it on. That's fine. It starts to render in the smoker, but we're probably looking somewhere around 8 to 10 hours if I leave it in the smoker only, but I might wrap it and put it in the oven to make it cook a little faster. I'm going to use a little garlic powder, onion powder, some salt and pepper on this, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it up real quick. Cut off the fat cap, so here's what I'm left with now, and there's a bone in there. So I'm going to season it up, but to get the seasoning to stick, you'll see sometimes people put like mustard on here or something. You can do that. I mean, really, mustard, if you do that, that's just to get the stuff to stick on it, your seasonings. But I use oil. I'm going to use avocado oil. Because the thing is think about oil and water, right? What do? They spread apart, right? Well, this has a lot of water, and this is mostly water, and it's going to be a very long cook. So what we want is if we put the oil on top, that's going to, when the water comes up, and tries to come out of the meat, and there's a barrier of oil there, it kind of helps lock the water in. It tries to keep the water in. Where if you use the mustard, it's water-based. It just evaporates, the water evaporates. All you really have then is just mustard flavor, which you could just use a mustard powder in that case. So I'm going to use avocado oil. You could use olive oil as long as you keep this at low and slow, because you don't want it to get past the smoking point. So olive oil actually would work as well. And you could use other seasonings, like if you really want to do a barbecue seasoning or something, you could with cayenne and all that. I've done that before, but we're going to do some steak tacos tonight, I think, and I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. One thing that I do also like to do when it's not quarantine time, I'll get like Hawaiian sea salt I've got on Amazon, and then you get these banana leaves you can get at like a Mexican food store, or you could get it like an Asian food store. They have banana leaves, and what you do is you can wrap this in the banana leaves after it's been smoking for like 4 hours. So good that way. Anyways, I'm going to season this up real quick. Oh yeah, and here's a little tip. I just put oil on it. Here's a little tip. If you ever want to like give someone the best part of it, to impress the most, usually the front of it. So you have like, the back part that goes like this, and then the front part kind of curves around. This, like in competition barbecue, they call it the money muscle. This is the best part. Sometimes they'll even cut it. Here in competition, it can't be cut off completely, but what they'll do is they'll cut it down so they can get all the seasoning around this one muscle right here, because it's super tender and super flavorful. Just something to think about. My lovely assistant here is helping me with one other thing actually we're going to throw on there. This is molasses powder. I'm going to add that on there. Got that on Amazon. So I'm going to try that out. Just put it on the smoker, and I'm going to close the lid so it starts warming up. I've got it set. It's at 197 right now, just because it's I just opened the lid, but I'm going to do it at about 225, and on average I think it's somewhere around 2 hours per pound, and this was roughly a 5.5 pound piece of meat, but I did cut off that fat cap, which made it smaller. And then if you throw it in the oven, like if you wrap it in foil, or you put it back in here, whichever way you want to do it, then you can reduce that time. We're going to look to cook this to about anywhere between 190 degrees and like 203 degrees. I'll probably be looking for somewhere around 200 to 203 degrees internal temperature. I'll stick a probe in there a little bit later. Right, it's just after 5 o'clock. I'm going to end up putting it up on here, take it in. And by the way, if you don't know what this is here, this is a Traeger. It's a smoker, a pellet smoker. So there's wood pellets in there that it feeds it through. It's really cool. You just kind of turn it on and let it go. You could have done this in the oven though. It's just over indirect heat. So you could throw it in an oven, 225 degrees. We're at 190 degrees, and I look to do it between 190 and 205. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it in some foil, and then a paper or a towel, and I'll put it in a cooler. You'll see in a sec. So I haven't even looked at it in a number of hours. So let's take a look. This will be my first view of it. Oh yeah, that is looking really, really good. And even though it looks burnt, it's not burnt. That's just the caramelization from the sugars in it. And okay, we'll put this on the foil. I'll take it inside and we'll go from there. All right, I got it in, so now I'm going to wrap it with foil and then wrap it with a towel. But oh, I've got to try a piece. I can't wait. Oh, so good. All right, and wrap it up. Wrapped in foil, wrapped in a towel, and now I'm going to put it in that cooler. There we go. So I'm going to keep the temperature thing on it, because why not? And then I gotta plug it back in, but just let it sit there for, usually, you know, with barbecue, that's good to go. Now you can take it wherever you want to go. If you're gonna go to somebody's house or something, but you let it sit there and just kind of relax for like an hour or something like that, and it'll keep its temperature. So we had some company over that night, and it just didn't really work out with me jumping all around on videos, kind of loud and everything. So this is a picture of our pork shoulder when I pulled it out of the ice chest, and then here's a picture after I shredded it all up, and it shredded real easy. I just put on some gloves, used my hands, pulled apart, and these were perfect for tacos. And I made my taco right there, and it was nice and smoky and tasted so good. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you ever want to make a pork shoulder, a smoked pork shoulder, that's how I do it.